Imagine a war, um, not fought over some vast territory, but sparked by, well, a single pig.
Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's true.
Yeah. And today on the deep dive, that's exactly what we're exploring.
Hmm.
The 1859 pig war on the San Juan Islands.
Right.
Our mission is to unpack how this really minor squabble born from vague maps, competing claims, how it blew up into a military standoff.
But crucially, one that got resolved peacefully. Diplomacy, civility. It's quite the story.
It really is. So what's amazing is how something so small could become, as one source put it, a geopolitical tinderbox.
Exactly. And the root cause, you have to go back to the 1846 Oregon Treaty.
That treaty,
Right.
it tried to set the border using the middle of the channel between Vancouver Island and the mainland, right?
Precisely. But there was a huge flaw. There wasn't just one main channel, there were two.
Haro Strait and Rosario Strait.
And that ambiguity, it left the San Juan Islands basically up for grabs.
So both Britain through the Hudson's Bay Company ranchers.
And the U.S. with American homesteaders coming over from Washington Territory.
Both claimed the islands. Talk about a recipe for trouble.
Definitely a tinderbox situation.
Hey, let's jump to the spark itself. June 15th, 1859.
Right. You've got Lyman Cutler, an American farmer. He's out there tending his potatoes.
His prized potatoes, apparently.
Yeah, and wandering into the patch is this pig. Belongs to Charles Griffin, who worked for the Hudson's Bay Company.
And the pig's just having a field day with the potatoes.
According to Cutler, yes. And it wasn't the first time. He'd had enough.
Right. So just shot it.
Grabbed his rifle, shot the pig. Simple as that. Or not so simple.
Uh-oh. I sense things escalating.
Immediately, Griffin demanded $100 compensation, big money back then.
And Cutler
refused. Said the pig was trespassing, he owed nothing, and boom, international incident.
Over a pig and some potatoes. Wow.
This really brought all those underlying tensions right to the surface. The British authorities threatened to arrest Cutler.
And the U.S. military got involved.
Swiftly. General William S. Harney, he was worried about what the British might do. So July 27th, he sends Captain George Pickett.
That George Pickett.
From Gettysburg?
The very same. He lands with about 64 U.S. infantrymen. Their orders, keep the peace, but they immediately started building defenses. Earthworks.
Okay, so U.S. troops digging in. How did the British take that?
Not well. Governor James Douglas ordered a major show of force, 3 Royal Navy frigates.
3 warships to deal with 60-odd soldiers.
HMS Tribune, Satellite, and Plumper. The orders were basically to kick the Americans off the island.
Sounds like the start of a real shooting war.
It absolutely looked like it. British warships sailing in, American troops dug in. But then something remarkable happened.
What was that?
The British naval commander, Rear Admiral Danes, he got there, looked at the situation, and refused the order to engage.
He refused. Why?
His famous quote is that he wouldn't be responsible for starting a war over a squabble about a pig. Just refused to fire.
Incredible restraint. Especially that kind of firepower. It really was. And it set the tone for the whole standoff. You ended up with 461 U.S. troops, 14 cannons.
Facing down.
Facing down 2,140 British sailors and Marines with 70 guns. A massive imbalance.
And yet, no fighting.
Not a single shot fired between them. It became known as maybe the most polite war ever.
Polite? How so?
Well, reports say the officers from both sides actually started, socializing, swapping liquor, playing cards together.
While their troops were technically adversaries just yards away.
Exactly. The only actual casualty in the entire affair remained, well, the pig.
That is just wild. So how did they finally break this bizarre, polite stalemate?
It wasn't quick. It took years, actually. Lots of back and forth diplomacy.
Must have been complicated.
Very. But eventually, cooler heads prevailed. In 1871, both sides agreed to let someone else decide. International arbitration.
Who did they get to arbitrate?
They asked Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany. He set up a 3-person commission in Geneva.
And their decision
came down on October 21st, 1872. They ruled the boundary line should go through the Haro Strait.
Which meant
the San Juan Islands belonged to the United States. Decisively.
And the withdrawal was peaceful, too.
As peaceful as the standoff. British Marines left quietly that November. By mid-1874, the last American post was abandoned. The land just went back to nature. Sheep and sunshine, as they say.
Amazing. And you can still see traces of this today, right?
Absolutely. The San Juan Island National Historical Park preserves both American camp and English camp. You can walk around and see the old rifle pits. It's quite evocative.
A physical reminder of this almost war.
Yeah, it's a potent reminder, really, how something seemingly tiny, one pig, can nearly ignite a massive conflict.
But also, maybe more importantly,
Right, it also shows the power of, restraint, diplomacy, finding a peaceful way out even when national pride is on the line.
so the key takeaway for you listening from this pig war story, it shows how absurd events can highlight serious geopolitical fault lines.
But it's also perhaps a really strong testament to just how crucial clear communication and measured responses are. How diplomacy can prevent things spiraling out of control, even when things get tense.